everybody. Welcome to episode 95 of McRae Live. The date today is Tuesday, August the 25th, 2020, 11:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And I just want to sort of talk a bit today about, of course, what else? I mean, it's me, Billy, the campaign. We're coming to an end. It's crunch time now. There is 9 days left in the campaign. Over these next 9 days, you're going to see a lot of social media posts. You're going to hear a lot about this stuff because it's crunch time and we're trying to raise money for a movie. And with only 9 days left, we got to get the word out there as much as we can to those who may have totally forgotten about it, for those who may have been sort of sitting on it, for those who are like, well, maybe I'm going to contribute, maybe I won't. You got 9 days left and that's it. So I wanted to sort of talk about that and kind of where we are and what's going on and give an update, of course. But this is it. The campaign ends. The Indiegogo campaign says it ends September 2nd, but that it might actually completely end on the 3rd of September, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But nonetheless, 9 days left. It will switch to 8 days later today. So probably around 5, 6 o'clock later this afternoon, early this evening, Eastern Standard Time, you'll see on the campaign that little 9 go to an 8. And then like we're basically a week out, which is crazy. This Saturday, I want to remind people, this Saturday, August the 29th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, Bruce will be with me in studio again. We will be doing our second Billy-a-thon. That's from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nothing but super chat questions, very much like before, but just not as long. Excuse me. Instead of 5 hours, we'll go for 3 hours. And then, yes, we'll take nothing but super chat questions, and everything raised from that obviously will go into the campaign. And then the very next night, Sunday, August the 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tony and I are doing our double feature, Two Dudes and Some Bullshit show, where we'll be watching the original Halloween. We were going to watch Last House on the Left, but since the whole purpose of this double feature is to, again, help to raise money for the Indiegogo campaign, and Tony wants to auction off one of his Michael Myers masks to the highest super chat of the night, we figured that Halloween might be a good way to get people into the chat room, to get people into the show. So the original Halloween and the original Black Christmas. Now, ordinarily, Tony and I do our show on Monday nights, but this week we're doing it Sunday night and at 6 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. We wanted to start an hour earlier because obviously we're watching 2 movies and that'll probably take up about 3.5 hours. So that's another big stream the very next night. Both streams, of course, the purpose of both shows is to raise money for It's Me, Billy, because a couple of days after Sunday, of course, the campaign comes to an end. And where are we in terms of the production? Well, tonight, myself and Bruce and Victoria and Shelby and Malika and everybody, we're going to have our third table read, a virtual table read with the adjustments that have been made to the script. One of the great things about, if you can find a great thing, obviously, but one of the nice things, I guess, about if something nice can come out of COVID, and most productions that are in development or pre-production would, and even if you're not, I mean, even in regards to the Batman, every production that has been in production and has had to shut down, it has allowed you and allowed us at least time to go over things, to take another look at things. Do we really want to say that? Do we really want to have that? Hey, is there a better way of doing this? Hey, that ending's great, but can we add a little bit of something there? You know what I mean? When that may not have been a thought that you would have had if you just were steamrolling through as usual. So if anything, it's allowed a lot of a lot of productions, whether you're independent or studio, to take another look at the script, to take your time, to get feedback. And it's been really helpful. So, and it just, makes your script stronger. Of course, there's always that fine line that you don't want to go, you don't want to spend too much time on it, because then you could overthink things and start to add unnecessary things to it that just totally are unnecessary. But certainly having that nice balance is, and that little bit of extra time is nice. So it's afforded us that. I know it's afforded Cecil that with Dylan's New Nightmare. I know he's really pleased with some of the adjustments and polishing that he's been able to do in this downtime, because we were supposed to shoot that movie at the end of May. Well, that didn't happen, right? And that's allowing, Nora more time to work on the makeup. It's allowing Cecil more time to work on the script and, really kind of fine-tune those edges that you may otherwise not have had time to do. So that's nice. So tonight we have another script read. Probably will be our last. Maybe not. I mean, there might be a fourth one in there if we make some adjustments, but any minor adjustments I don't think calls for a table read. In terms of like, we'll just change that sentence to that, and we'll just have her walk up there instead of around there. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't necessarily require a full-fledged table read. Usually that happens when you make significant changes and to scenes. Which we've been sort of polishing and doing. So that's tonight. And then this weekend is the a-thons. And then Saturday night, Bruce and I are continuing to work on the shot list. I'm going over to Bruce's place, tomorrow, I believe. It's Wednesday, right? I think it's Wednesday. I got to check my notes. Yeah. I think it's tomorrow. Going over to Bruce's place Wednesday night to work on the shot list as well. We're alternating. I go over to his place, and then he comes over to my place, and I go over to his place, and he goes over to my place, sort of sharing the drive. He's only about 20 minutes from me, but, sometimes it's easier. And so I mean, that's what's going down. That's what's going down. And we are excited. I mean, we've been doing very well, very, very well. And I know that the campaign... Let me just see here. Go over here. Here we are. That the campaign. 1 second here. Let me just get something ready. Let me just see here. Go over here. Here. All right. Perfect. So yeah, this is what we're sitting at right now, folks. This is let's hit the refresh page there. Refresh it. We are at 544 backers, 49,923 Canadian dollars. 83% of our production budget with 9 days left. Folks, we're like 70 or 80 bucks away. 77 bucks or whatever that is. Away from $50,000. I'm really hoping that maybe we can get to $50,000 by the end of today's show. We are so close to $50,000. 49,923. We are so close to that mark. And just looking at that is tremendous. It really is amazing. The support, and not just the support from, from everybody. It's incredible what we're doing there. And somebody the other day said, if somebody comes in and buys an executive producer perk, which is about 5,000 US, 8,000 Canadian, but you get everything, you're pretty much there. And I said, well, yes, but I said, really, at the end of the day, if 36 more people come in, because this would be a lot easier, if 36 people come in and buy this perk, will be there. You know what I mean? Because it's in at about the same price, right? The private advanced screening. And the reason why I keep harping on this and keep promoting this and have promoted this over the last week or so, and will continue to do so until the end of the campaign, is because it's a very now again, everybody's financial situation is relative. And I do understand that. I want people to know that I understand if you can't afford it, that's okay. That's okay. You and your family comes first. Food on your table, dental bills, doctor bills, daycare bills, whatever. I mean, bills, to live. I mean, that comes first. Groceries. I mean, of course, I'm just saying that in the big picture, it's a very affordable price point rather than just hoping somebody with $8,000 comes along and drops it. You know what I mean? So it's $225 Canadian. That's about $170, $180 American. And you get a lot with it. You get to be the first one of the first 50 people to watch a private screening with me, with Bruce, with the cast over Zoom. And you get to see it. You get to see the movie. It's not like you're watching it. It's not two dudes where you have to have the link and what. No, you'll be able to see it. And we watch along together for the first time. And there's a Q&A afterwards as well. And with that, of course, with that perk, you also get a special thanks in the end credits, the digital download package, the Blu-ray, the official poster, and an IMDb special thanks credit as well. 14 out of 50 have been claimed. So there's about 36 left. If we can get 36 people to buy into that, we'll be pretty much at our production budget. And so that's more doable. I mean, listen, I get the chances of 36 people coming forward and, buying that in the next 9 days is not very high. But I think it's more probable than somebody with $8,000 suddenly coming along and just dropping it. You know what I mean? So I always want to remind people of that because I think it's a really good price point and you get a lot with it and you get to be one of the first to see It's Me, Billy. Now, obviously, we can't deliver on that part of the perk until the movie is done, naturally, right? I mean, the movie has to be done in order for us to deliver on that. So that won't be probably till next spring, something like that, if all goes well and we are able to shoot at the end of November, which is our scheduled plan. But of course, with COVID-19, you just never know. It's entirely possible that, come October, November, we hit a second wave, everybody's shutting down, and we're right back where we were in March, and we have to delay the production until, sometime in February or March or something like that. That's entirely possible. Our fingers are crossed that will not happen, but it's entirely possible. And of course, there are a bunch of other perks still available as well. The retro poster and the official poster, and then the signed promo photo of the 3 leads, hoodies, t-shirts, toques. There's 1 2 dudes perk left. I am, I have to admit, I'm a little surprised that 4 of those have sold. It's crazy. 1 2 dudes perk left. This is where you get to come on 2 dudes and some bullshit with Tony and I. And watch a movie with us. So for that particular episode, instead of it being 2 dudes and some bullshit, it's 3 dudes and some bullshit. And you also get a special thanks in the end credits, the digital download package, and the Blu-ray as well. Make sure that when you're looking at perks, you also click on them to see what else is, what else comes with it. Because there's a lot of add-ons as well. It's not just necessarily the main perk. It's the main perk is the draw. That's sort of like the grand prize of the perk. But you also get other things with it as well. For instance, here, of course, the 2 dudes. Oh, that's cool. But I also get the Blu-ray, a special thanks, and the digital download package. So make sure you always click on that as well. And of course, we do already have 1 executive producer. 1 executive producer took the big package, folks. The big package. That didn't sound right. The big package, folks. That's what it is. It's tremendous. The big package. Official concept art as well. Many of that up for grabs. So again, there's lots of perks still available for you guys to choose. And you only have 9 days, pretty much 8 days, 9.5 days, really. Or 8.5 days, I should say. 8.5 days, really, because like I said, that it's going to switch over to 8 days in about 5 or 6 hours from now. So, yeah, so pretty good stuff. And listen, if we can get to $50,000 by the end of this show, that would be really cool. That's only another like $80. That would be amazing. But this is something that things are looking good. Things are looking good. We are speaking with our DP on a regular basis. We're having meetings with him. We are in the process right now of sort of reaching out to, we have people in mind for crew and things like that. We are already in the process of starting that thought process, I guess is the best way to say it. And then we will have a good idea of what our crew looks like probably come mid-September to the end of September. We're already thinking about, the logistics of shooting. And I mean, it's going to be intense. Like I said, it will be a closed set, obviously. That just simply means that only vetted cast and crew will be allowed at the location. The thing that works in our favor, of course, too, is that we don't have a lot of locations. So it's easier to, in this COVID-19 sort of era, it's very easy then to make that a reality, where I can only imagine what it must be like on productions like The Batman or, Bond or Stranger Things or, whatever, where you have like multiple locations and crew members of 150 people. And, a cast of 50 people and, whatever it is, right? I can only imagine how difficult that must be, because, how to sort of monitor that and all of the protocols and the procedures that have to be in place, because we have to follow it as well. So, but because ours is a smaller situation, cast and crew, everybody involved, we're probably looking at about anywhere between 16, 17 people. That's cast and crew. So obviously it's a smaller shoot and we don't have all these locations. So it's easier to sort of, isolate ourselves and mitigate the risk of anybody picking up COVID-19 because they're out at a restaurant having lunch or something. So, but I can only imagine how insane that must be to keep tabs on everybody and to make sure that everybody is following through when you have an entire crew of 300 or 400 people. I can't even imagine that. It's just insane. Absolutely insane. But yes, so that is where we are right now in regards to that. So remember, folks, 9 days left. Still lots of perks there. And I think if we can, let's see, we're at 14 of that advanced screening. If we can even get to 30, if we can sell out another 16, if 16 more people can take that advanced screening perk, that'll put us in a really good spot. We're already in a really good spot. But I'm trying to sort of, be realistic about it. I think the probability of 36 people buying that advanced perk in between now and the end of the campaign is probably not likely. But you never know. Maybe a couple of days before people just feel like, oh my God, I got to do this now. That's entirely possible too. But I just saw, I like to do these shows because I like to remind people. I know I have been talking about It's Me, Billy a lot. I do appreciate your patience. I know that there's probably a lot of people in the chat room that want to talk about other things. I understand that. They want me to talk about other things. I understand that. But when you are in the middle of a fundraising campaign, raising thousands of dollars for an independent film, and you are relying on your audience and your reach to get people excited and to donate and to make it a reality, you got to talk about it a lot. Obviously I won't be talking about it a lot like this and, pushing the campaign when there is no campaign. It'll just be updates on the production. So I know some of you, God, he's talking about it again. Well, yeah, that's what you got to do. If you don't talk about it, people don't know about it. Out of sight, out of mind, right? So you got to do it, because not everybody watches everything I do. And sometimes people tune in and are like, oh, what's this? Oh, listen, I had somebody about 3 weeks ago message me and saying, can you give me more information on It's Me, Billy? I've never heard of this. Now, some of you might be thinking, how could you never hear of it? You talk about it all the time. Because he's probably not talking. He's probably not watching me every day. There are a lot of people that watch me, go away, do other things, don't watch me, come back and are like, oh, what's McRae doing? All of a sudden, there it is. You know what I mean? So it's something that we just have to do. So I do appreciate your patience and with this. So let's go over to your questions now and see what you guys have. Any questions that you have, of course, for It's Me, Billy. Any questions you have for the production. If I can answer it, I will, of course. If it's something that I feel is spoiler territory, I won't answer it, or I might dance around it. But we can do, I'll do the best. I'll do the best I can. So link to the Indiegogo campaign. Let me see if I can get that link to the Indiegogo campaign and just put it in the chat room for you guys, so I make it easy for you. It is in the description, but I'm going to put it in the chat room. There you go. I just put it in the chat room. Head on over there. Let's see if we can get to 50,000 by the end of this show. That's only like another $80. You know what I mean? Let's see if we can do this. That would be amazing. I would appreciate it so much. because it'd just be nice to cross that milestone. You know what I mean? It would just, we've crossed that milestone. That'd be so great. So let's go over to your questions and see what you guys are chatting about. 2 super chats did come in. We have Jilly Rocks the Metal, £4.99, for £5 essentially. Thank you. Jilly says, hi Dave, me and hubby toe cutter. Yes, now Davey Dark donated to It's Me Billy. Wishing you all the success. Looking forward to seeing It's Me Billy. Well, thank you so much, Jilly. I think it's Jilly, right? I think it's a heart, like it's a soft G. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you doing that. Tell your husband he is amazing. You guys are amazing. Like I said, I mean, it sounds cliche, but you're helping to make it a reality. Without all of you, without every single person that has donated to this campaign, this wouldn't be happening right now. This wouldn't be happening right now. I can't wait to talk to the ladies tonight, and because I bet you they're really excited too, because I know that they're monitoring it. I know that they're seeing it, and they're aware of what's going on. And we'll try to get them. I don't know what their schedules are like for this Saturday, but we'll try and get them onto the a-thon as well. Can't promise anything. Let me see. Davey Dark. Hey, there's Davey Dark. Davey Dark says, damn, Dave, my wife beat me to it. Just bought the digital poster, film, and script. Best of luck, Dave. You are an inspiration, man. Cheers. Well, I appreciate that, Davey, very, very much. And I'm glad that you were able to contribute. That's awesome. That's awesome. Absolutely. Blue Raven Film says, hey, Dave, if I donated $2, would my name still appear in the end credits? No. All donations are just donations, and they're not associated with any perks. In order for your name to be in the end credits, you have to donate. It's $7 Canadian, which is about $5 US or something like that. So you have to buy the very first perk is the special thanks perk. And all that is if you were to buy that perk, like I said, $7 Canadian, $5 US, somewhere around there, that'll get your name in the end credits. But donations are not associated with perks. They're just donations. Just like, hey, man, we... Julian Salgado says, damn, Dave, you have a good head of hair at your age. Oh, I do. I have a lot of hair. Yeah, I have a lot of hair, folks. A lot of people think I actually don't have hair. But now, this is bedhead. This is major bedhead. Major bedhead. I have to have a shower later too, but I'm going to work out, so I'll do it after that. But yeah, no, I have a full head of hair. A lot of people think I'm bald because I wear hats all the time, but I actually just wear hats all the time because I'm a hat guy. Now, I obviously wouldn't wear a hat to a funeral or to a wedding, or unless it was one of those like kind of, funky, fedora hats or something that it required. Like when I went to the Voice Arts Awards, I've been to the Voice Arts Awards where I haven't worn a hat. There's photos of me at the Voice Arts Awards, with me without a hat. And last year I wore like a nice little kind of hat. So I have a full head of hair. Oh yeah, full head of hair. If I go bald, it probably won't be here. It'll probably be back here because my dad went bald back there. But in terms of like here, that part of my head, no, I'll probably always have hair there. So yeah, I have hair, folks. I have hair. I just like hats. I'm just a hat guy. Let's see here. Evil Alex says, when you must make the posters and Blu-rays and post them to any buyer, does it not cost money that you need for the film? Yes, well that's why when you buy a perk that has and this is standard practice, we have to do this. All campaigns do this. When you buy a perk, there's a shipping charge. Like if you buy a perk that's a digital thing, like the digital download package doesn't cost anything more. It is what it is because everything is sent to you digitally. There is no shipping cost. There is no, creating costs, right? But if you were to purchase a Blu-ray, well, it's the price that you see plus shipping. And the shipping changes depending on where you are in the world. But that's standard. That would be like if you were buying a Blu-ray on Amazon. It's the price of the thing plus shipping. So what you got to do. And if we didn't do that, we'd have to raise a lot more because we'd have to factor in all the cost that we'd have to spend on shipping. I mean, there's a lot about... Well, it depends on how much you raise, and it depends on how many backers you have, of course. But certainly a good percentage of what you raise goes towards the campaign. It goes towards the creating the Blu-rays, the printing of all the posters, the T-shirts, the hats, the hoodies, And then there's shipping all that around the world. You know, there's shipping costs and packaging costs. And so that's a big part. So that's why we have to charge shipping. We have to, you know, and depending on where you are in the world, dictates on how much that will be. But it's nothing astronomical. Like, it's fair. I looked at rates of what would be in the ballpark of what it would be to ship just here in Canada. Obviously, if you're in Canada, shipping is cheaper. If you're in the US, it's more. If you're overseas, it's more than that. So it's just, you know, it's the reality. So yes, there is cost with that for sure. Gary Rangel says, Dave, how long does it take to become a famous YouTuber? My friend is a gamer YouTuber. Inspire me to make my own YouTube movie channel. I don't know. I don't, I think if you're doing it to become famous, I think that's the wrong thing. You never, look, are there people that get into, I don't know. I don't know. I find it so, okay. How do I approach this? So, okay. First of all, I do this because I love doing it. As many of you know, it's not my full-time job. My job is a voice actor. That's what I do. And I have no doubt you probably heard my voice for years, but wouldn't have known it because obviously you don't know my face, right? Well, you know my face now. I've always enjoyed the anonymity of being a voice actor, doing a lot of things that a lot of people hear and see, but you don't know my face, which is always really nice. So there's a certain level of ambiguity and privacy that comes with that. Like if my face was on as many commercials and promos and trailers that my voice has been on, you'd know my face like that, like that, because I've done a lot. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years, you know, and there's a lot between radio and well, radio, you can't see me, but still, if between radio and television and network promos and movie trailers and ads that you see in the theater, I mean, it's crazy. But so I've always really liked, I can do all this and remain sort of in the background. So it's always been nice. And then I started to do this YouTube channel. Like I said, I've had the channel for a long time, but I started to do it a few years ago, like this. And I don't know. I don't do it to be famous. I don't even know what that word means. I mean, I know what it means, obviously. I can intellectualize it, but I'm like, I don't care. Like I just want to talk about shit that I love. Like, in case you haven't noticed, and I'm not saying that others have to do this, I didn't even realize that I wasn't doing it until about a year or so ago. I didn't even realize that I wasn't doing it. But have you noticed that I've never, ever, ever asked anybody to subscribe to me and hit that notification bell? I've never done it. And I didn't realize that I wasn't doing it until about a year or so ago, because I just didn't care. I just didn't care if people subscribed to me or not. I didn't care if people got notifications from me or not. I mean, maybe I should care because you want your channel to grow. Like, you really do. You want your channel to grow but I was doing it because I loved just expressing myself and getting what was in here out there, you know, into the ether. And I had an opinion and I had a thought and I had a view that I thought had some, you know, validity to it, or was interesting or mildly amusing, or, you know, whatever. And I just wanted to do that. And at the end of all my videos, it never dawned on me that I should be like, anyways, folks, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. I never dawned on me. It never dawned on me. It never dawned on me to do it. And now I'm like, well, now I can't do it because now I have this, you know what I mean? I've never done it because for me, and maybe I should, because maybe it gets people to subscribe. But in my mind, people are going to subscribe to you because they like you, not because you told them to. You know, hey, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Okay, but I don't like you. I think you're a fucking idiot. So I'm not going to subscribe and hit the notification bell. So I generally like to think that generally speaking, I should say, I think people are going to subscribe to you because they like you and they like your content. And it doesn't matter whether you tell them to or not. I think that's sort of how it goes. So anyway, I know this is long-winded, but the point I'm making is that it should never do it to be famous. Never put yourself out there to be famous, because you're going to run into a lot of ups and downs and a lot of highs and lows. And if you're doing it for the euphoria of, the endorphins of likes and clicks and comments and views, you're going to have a real hard time. You're going to have a real hard time. You know what I mean? And really, you should do it because you love it, and let your audience find you. Be you, be who you are. Don't try to be someone you're not, and people will respect you for it, and your audience will find you. They'll find you. You know what I mean? But if you're doing it for clicks and for likes and for emojis and for views and to be famous, ironically, you'll probably end up not being famous, because you'll get frustrated and you'll get irritated and because some videos are not getting as many views as other videos. Like, do I think this show today is going to get 5,000 views? No. I know what gets me views. Want to talk Halloween? All I got to do is put Halloween Kills in the fucking title, and right now I'd have 280 people watching. But I'm not doing it for that. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. And if you want to tune in, that's great. If not, that's okay too. You know what I mean? And maybe it's also because this isn't my full-time job, so I don't feel that extra pressure, like, oh my God, that's entirely possible too. There are others out there that do make a real go at it and quit their jobs or, whatever it is, and now they're solely relying on it, right? I understand that. That is a variable that must be mentioned. But at the end of the day, just be you. Be you. Tell your friend to be themselves. Don't worry about any sort of fame or byproduct that may or may not come from doing a YouTube channel. And let's be honest, okay? I'm a YouTube channel that has 21.6 thousand subscribers. I'm not Joe Rogan, all right? It's not like I have 10 million subscribers. I mean, to be really YouTube famous, you gotta... You know what I mean? Now, again, there's different variables there. You can be YouTube famous, or you can be famous within a niche sort of area. I guess one could look at me and think that I am in a niche area, I guess, but I never think about it, and I don't really care about it. I don't care about it at all. I just like talking to you guys, expressing my thoughts. I think that I have some input. I think my experience, working in the entertainment industry, there's certain things that I feel that maybe I have value and that I can bring to the table. I don't know it all. I don't pretend to know it all, but I think that, I've always felt that maybe I could bring some value to a discussion, or, from a certain point of view. And I just want to talk shop. I just want to have fun and hang out with friends and talk movies, and that's what it should be about. And then you let the chips fall where they may. And some people will like you, some people won't like you, and you can't care about that, because the second you care about people liking you, you mold your opinions to fit those, to get people to like you, and you sell out. And you can't do that. You can't do that. So anyway, that's what I have to say on that. So yeah, just don't worry about being famous. Don't worry about your friend being, just go online, go to your YouTube channel, play games, talk about it, have fun, and let's see what happens. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. All right. A couple of super chats did come in, or maybe it was just one that just came in. Want to snag that. Billy Van says, Dave, I would like to give Intel a massive thank you for contributing a lot to the campaign and even purchasing me a perk. Yes, absolutely. Intel Wild, who is, his real name is James, is, just been a tremendous support to this channel, to this community, to the belief in the It's Me Billy project and film. So absolutely well-deserved shout out to Intel Wild, who's been absolutely incredible, and for purchasing 4 advanced screening perks for 4 lucky people. That was announced last Thursday, I believe, on the Lynn Griffin show. On my show where I had Lynn Griffin. The Lynn Griffin show sounds like a totally other YouTube channel. Amazing. 100%. And thank you for the super chat, Billy. I really appreciate that. Justin Simonson says, it's the content of the same interest as why I subscribe. Also in-depth videos on topics I enjoy listening to. That's right. That's right. Whether I tell you to subscribe or not at the end of the day, could we statistically prove whether that has weight or not? Yes, we can. We can prove that. But at the end of the day, people subscribe because they like you and the perspective, and the content, not because you're telling them to. Not because you're telling them to. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of people that I've subscribed to that have never told me to. And there's been a lot of people that I watch who I really like, who I'm not subscribed to. Like, I mean, you know, it's just, yeah, it's just be yourself. Be yourself. Danita Brown says, Dave, I have a niece that has a YouTube channel, and she makes it a point not to ask people to subscribe or to her channel. She does it because she loves it. Yeah, that's really cool. And to be fair, if you tell people to subscribe to your channel and hit the notification bell and all that kind of jazz, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I don't want people to misunderstand me. I'm not saying that I'm somehow highbrow and, you know, I'm better because I don't ask people to subscribe. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that about a year or so ago, it dawned on me that I didn't do that. And I think it was a byproduct of because I was just so into what I was doing that I just didn't care. You know, I didn't have any sort of fancy intro. You know, it was just me, you know, the camera would begin and it was me going, hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. And then I finally got a little bit of an intro, you know, but it's not like it's just me. It's just, I didn't, you know what I mean? So yeah, but if you do, that's okay too. That's fine. It's probably better if you do. It probably doesn't hurt, to be honest with you. I just never did. Intel Wild goes hard into the paint with a very generous super chat. Thank you, Intel. Says, what's up, Dave? Love the McCrazy community. Billy Van, you are welcome. Real Reveal said he would buy a Blu-ray for It's Me, Billy, for the first person who goes to his IG page. Oh, well, you guys are amazing. I will let you guys figure that out amongst the chat room there, but that is amazing. You guys are awesome. And sincerely, I mean, the community, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. The best thing about this is seeing you guys talking amongst yourself and, you know, and sharing ideas and thoughts and saying good morning to each other. And it has nothing to do with me. And that's really awesome. That's really awesome. I really like that a lot. Wolfman's Got Nards is in the chat room. Barry, my man, says, just here to say hi. Good luck with crunch time, Dave. Thank you, Barry. Really appreciate that, man. Yeah, we're working hard. It is crunch time now. It'll be very interesting to see where we get. Obviously, we still have the 2-a-thons this weekend, the double feature on Two Dudes on Sunday, and then, of course, the 3-hour-a-thon with Bruce on Saturday. So we should be, I mean, listen, you know, even if we can walk away from the a-thon on Saturday with, I don't know. I mean, I don't think we'll walk away with as much because we're not going as long. But, you know, maybe with the 2-a-thons and people knowing that it's crunch time now, you know, maybe we'll get close. I don't know if we'll hit 100%, but if we can get close, I mean, we're at 83% right now. I mean, that's wild. No pun intended, Intel Wild. But thank you, Barry. Really appreciate that, man. And yeah, Robert Thidoff says, Dave, is your Mount Rushmore where you love movies? Dave, oh, excuse me. What is your Mount Rushmore where you love movies began? Mine are Jaws. Oh, my love of movies began. Oh, yeah, probably something like that. You know, like Indiana Jones, Jaws, Star Wars, you know, Elm Street, probably something in there. Something in there, I would say. That would be my guess. That'd be my guess. DMT Infinity says, Dave, if YouTube became obsolete, where would you go next to keep making all of these fantastic videos and live streams such as your standalone videos? I don't know. I've never really thought about it. I have no idea. I don't even know what would be an alternative. I mean, I know there are other alternatives, but, you know, YouTube is the big daddy in the space. And so I don't know. It's a good question. I'm not sure. The Film Addict says, hey, Dave, do you have a most anticipated movie of 2021? Well, I'd have to look to see what movies were pushed to 2021. Off the top of my head, I would say it's probably Halloween Kills, The Batman, Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, whatever which way it is. Oh, well, actually, I think that's coming to streaming. I was really looking forward to seeing The Girl in the Window with Amy Adams. It's kind of like a sort of a modern take again on Rear Window, sort of. I was looking forward to that one, but I think that might be going to streaming now. I don't know. There's a few. Like there's a few. The Bond one, if Bond doesn't come out this year. Dune, if Dune doesn't get moved. Obviously, Dune might get moved, but yeah. Yeah, there's a few. There's a few that I'm looking forward to. Let me see. Just make sure I think I got all the, yes, I did. I got all the super chats. That is good. Good. Let's see. Johnny Melancholy says, good luck, Dave. Looking forward to watching It's Me, Billy, with you and the crew. Amazing. So you picked up a perk. You must pick one up the other day. I think I remember seeing your name. The advanced screening perk. Yeah, that's awesome. Guys, I'm telling you, that perk will, if we can sell a lot of those perks, and it's not, I mean, it's not like $5, but it's not like $500. It's relatively cheap for what you get. If we can sell a bunch of those, we're at 14 right now. If we can sell like another 14, I mean, geez, oh man, that'd be amazing. So don't forget, 9 days left in the It's Me, Billy Indiegogo campaign. Let's see. I want to scroll and see if there's somebody I haven't seen. Richard Bainan. I'm going to say Bainan. Great t-shirt, Dave. Oh, yes, the AC/DC one. I have a few myself. Hope it all goes well with It's Me, Billy. I'll send a few quid. Hope it helps in some small way. Oh, it always does. 100%. And like I said, folks, if you don't want to buy any of the perks, you can donate. You can donate as little as $2. You can donate as much as, I think, like a few thousand. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying, like, there's a large spectrum with what you can donate. Now, again, donations are not associated with perks, but if you have a couple of bucks burning a hole in your pocket, every little bit helps. We've had people donate $2. And, you might be thinking, well, $2. Hey, it's $2. You know what I mean? I mean, we've had people donate $300 or $400. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying that's what you can do. You can donate, whatever you want. So it always helps, man. Always helps, 100%. Let me see. Scott7 sends in a super chat and says, hey, buddy, what do you think is an actor, actress that never became the movie star that you think they should have been? For me, it's Michael Biehn. Yeah, Michael Biehn's a good one. I would say there's never been, that's a good question. What would be good? Who? Never an actor that should have been more than who he was or who she was. I don't know. I got to think about this. I don't know. I guess it's because I never really thought about it. Let me think. Because I don't want to say something that's not true just for saying something. You know what I mean? Let me think on that. Because sometimes you look at actors and you're like, yeah, no, they should have been just who they are. Because, I mean, look, talent really does, look, if you're talented, if you're really talented, you'll do it. And sometimes actors are they're just good character actors, Yeah, I got to think on that. I don't know off the top of my head. It's a good question, though. Let's see. Johnny T says, Dave, other than Halloween, what other Theater of the Mind movies favorites can you recommend? Well, the original Black Christmas is great. The Others is fantastic. Let me see. Rear Window is great from 1954, Alfred Hitchcock. I would say that... Well, there's a lot of, in some ways, even Seven kind of has that a little bit. I would say those, and there's a lot of older movies too. Like, you see it more with the older films because that's it. We didn't really enter the sensationalism till like the early 70s. But I would say that, yeah, it's hard to say. But those are three there that are good. Those are three that are good. The Others is great that way too. That's a Theater of the Mind kind of movie. That's great. That's good. Justin Simonson says, did you see the Batman trailer? If so, what are your thoughts? Oh, I loved it. Thought it was great. I thought it was good. And there's nothing in that movie that surprised me at all. And I was watching a lot of fan reactions and I laugh. I laugh at people going, oh my God, it actually is really bad. I'm like, well, yeah, what did we expect? I don't like. What do you expect? Who are these people? Robert Pattinson. Who is he's gonna sparkle? I'm just like, and these are the same people that said the same thing about Ledger, about Ben Affleck. It's like, have we not learned our lesson yet? That, you know, you put a good actor in the. I knew instantaneously when they hired Robert Pattinson. I was like, brilliant choice. He's gonna be great. Be fucking amazing. He's gonna be great. And then people, and then no, and then they watch the trailer and they're like, oh, it's actually really good. And they're going crazy. And I'm thinking, yeah, what did you expect? Like, what were you expecting? Of course. I mean, they didn't hire Melissa McCarthy to be Batman. Like, what do you expect? Of course, it's going to look amazing. That doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. But when I watched the trailer, I thought, oh, I love the tone, love the aesthetic. You know, Pattinson looks great. Yeah, it's exactly what I expected. Nothing surprised me. And I don't say that in a highbrow sort of way. Not at all. I don't know. I guess sometimes I just find fandom really interesting. And some things that surprise the vast majority of fans don't surprise me. And I always find it fascinating that it does surprise people. And then there are things that surprise me that don't surprise the vast majority of fandom that I find very interesting and fascinating too. I'm like, why aren't you guys surprised about that? You know, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And then sometimes there are things that surprise fans that surprise me too. But in terms of the Batman looking as good as it does, as dark as it does, as, gritty as it does, and Pattinson looking as great as he does, no surprise here. None. I watched a trailer, I went, yeah, it's exactly. But is the movie going to be good? I don't know. Things can look fucking amazing and be dog shit. We know this. This has happened. And again, we should be prepared for that, right? Always go into it's hard to go into a movie without any expectations, but go into movies with your expectations in check. That's what I think. Never, because to not have any expectations is just not realistic, but go into it going, okay, let's watch the movie. Show me what you've got. You know what I mean? And then just let the chips fall where they may, as I often say. So, but yeah, I thought it looked really good, and it was the right tone. He looked great. But then at the same time, I also have to acknowledge this before people start tearing me a new one. I do have to acknowledge this because this is very important. I'm also somebody that is not emotionally invested into comic book movies, right? I'm not somebody that, like, I saw people watching that trailer losing, and I mean this in a real sincere, really awesome way, okay? Losing their minds going, holy fuck! Oh! Why? Are they unhinged? No. Because they're invested in the DC universe. They're invested in Batman. They look at that and they go, oh my God, it looks like Batman from some comic book I've never heard of, some graphic novel I've never fucking heard of in my life. And they're looking at that going, that's totally. So yes, of course that's going to get them excited, right? Like I'm actually, I totally get it. 100%. So I always have to keep that in mind too, that my outwardly, oh my God, I'm not that kind of person anyway. Even if I felt it, I wouldn't necessarily do that. And a lot of these people do it and play it up, obviously, because they're doing trailer reactions. It's not like it's a hidden camera. They know they're on camera. They know going like this, wah! In the middle of their fucking stream is going to make a great thumbnail. I mean, they know that. You know what I mean? So yes, there is a bit of, theatrics that are, for sure. Half of these people, if they were not doing reactions and they were sitting by themselves alone watching the trailer, would not be sitting there alone going, oh! 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 I mean, they wouldn't be doing, maybe somebody would, I don't know. But, so I get that, there's a little bit of sensationalism there, but it's great to see. I totally understand when I hear some people say, oh my God, that's like this, it's like this, it's like this, which I have no reference to. I'm like, oh, I love seeing that kind of excitement, and I share in that because I get it. I understand it. But the surprise aspect of it looking as good as it does and Pattinson looking as good as he does, I'm like, why are people surprised? He's an actor. People know he's not actually a sparkling vampire, right? Like, we know this, right? Like you know he's not actually a sparkling vampire, right? You know, I just want to. Okay. I just want to make sure. Anyway, I thought it looked great. I'm really excited to see it. It's on my highly most anticipated list for sure. Thought it looked really cool. And what I'm hoping too is that beatdown of that guy. Like we see more of that. We see more of that. And we see more of that from one shot, one camera angle. Not coming in for close-ups and quick cuts to make it look like things are moving faster than they actually are. No, I want to see like one angle of somebody just a Batman beating the shit out of somebody. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see more of that. I don't know if we'll get it, but that's what I want to see. Let me see here. Oh, wait. Did I get that? Yes. Okay. Intel Wild says, at James Guzman. At James Guzman won the Blu-ray from Real Reveal, Dave. Oh, amazing. Amazing. You guys are awesome. All right. Well, you guys correspond with each other. And then James, maybe Real Reveal can get James's info, or James can reach out to me personally on Many Things Dave McRae, the Facebook page. If you have Facebook, reach out there personally, and you'll have to give me your address and all that kind of stuff, because I'll have to put it aside so that when the Blu-rays, now there's no rush. I mean, we're not ready to send you Blu-rays yet. Okay, it's going to be a while, but don't forget to do that so we know that when it does come time, we can get you your Blu-ray. That's amazing. Amazing. You guys are awesome. Scott7 says, you ever going to have your lady on the show? No. And it's not personal. It's not personal. She loves you guys. She watches the show often. She thinks you guys are great. She's hugely supportive of what we're doing. But my girlfriend is not, she's not in the entertainment industry. She's, we might like to keep that side of our life sort of private. You know what I mean? But she's hugely supportive of the channel. She loves what we're doing. She laughs at some of the kibitzing back and forth, in the chat room, but she's not, she's more of a backseat kind of person. And, but you'll see her from time to time, I post a photo on social media that might have her and I in it. She obviously comes with me to the Voice Arts Awards, naturally. I mean, that's something that, obviously your significant other would join you with. So yeah, she's just kind of in the background kind of gal, you know what I mean? But she's totally supportive of everything here. And sometimes gives me great ideas for shows too. So if she's watching, I love you, sweetheart. Thank you. Okay, let's, I don't know if she's watching at all. She might be busy at the moment, but it's there anyway. Let me see. Wayne Downey says, the Batman trailer looked like a combination of Seven and Batman. Love the mood. Oh, it looked great. Yeah, it looked really good. But I'm still surprised people were surprised by it. I'm like, it's Matt Reeves. We've seen what he was able to do with Planet of the Apes. You got a talented guy. We knew it was going to be dark. We know it's going that dark. Like we've seen, I think people just have been burned so many times in the past that they just, I think people genuinely like to play the pessimist and then get really excited almost when they're, you know what I mean? It might be some kind of psychology there. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Let me see. Let me see here. Who do we got? The Film Addict says the Riddler looks scary as hell, and I love it. Oh, I love it too. I love the fact they didn't even look like the Riddler, or at least the traditional sense of the Riddler. I like that too. Oh, it looked great. And I thought, I know some people were like, I didn't like the way that Robert Pattinson looked at Bruce Wayne. Didn't like it. I thought it looked fine. It looked great. He looked fine. I mean, I didn't like it. My Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne is supposed to have a clean-cut hair. He's supposed to look like yeah, but you know what this is? This is not, I thought he looked great. Yeah, Robert Pattinson is a fantastic actor. Again, that doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. That doesn't mean that when we see the movie from beginning to end that you're going to walk away going, oh my God, he's the best Batman of all time. Of course, that usually always happens. Oh my God, Christian Bale's the best Batman of all time. Oh my God, Ben Affleck's the best Batman of all time. I'm sure that when people leave, oh my God, Robert Pattinson's the best Batman of all time. It's just... Oh man. And maybe he will be. Maybe he genuinely will be. I mean, maybe he actually will be. But yeah, it looks good. It's the trailer did exactly what it was supposed to do. Get people excited. Now, when it comes to Justice League, because I have no doubt people will probably ask me about that, I did watch the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer, but because I haven't seen Justice League, I have no idea, like, you tell me. I mean, and try to remove your emotional fanboy orgasms for a moment and, like, does it look like a completely different movie? I mean, clearly we know it's going to be 4 1-hour parts, as far as I know. So they're playing it like a miniseries. That's what they're doing. So it's basically a 4-hour movie, is my understanding on HBO Max. So you'll get to watch it in 4 1-hour parts. Well, I haven't seen Justice League, but I would imagine that if you are turning a 2-hour movie into a 4-hour movie, there's got to be a lot of shit in there that was not in Justice League. But I have heard some people say that when they watched the Snyder Cut trailer the other day, that it looks like the same movie with some different things in there, but it looks pretty much like the same movie. I don't know whether that's true because I haven't seen Justice League. So I have no idea whether that's true. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people say that. I'm seeing people say, oh my God, losing their fucking nerdgasm balls. I mean, we see that, hallelujah, all that kind of Leonard Cohen, rest in peace. Good Canadian guy, by the way. So I don't know. I mean, it looks, the thing that I have trouble with Zack Snyder, and this is probably what people love about it. And this is, it almost looks like some of that trailer looked like I was watching, and I know they did have video game trailers. I didn't watch them. But Zack Snyder's Justice League, the trailer, there's many moments in that it looks like I'm watching a video game. His movies are very video game. His action is very video game. It's borderline animation. Well, I mean, there's a lot of animation in those films. Obviously, there's a lot of animation in the Avengers too, right? But I just mean that it's so eye-poppingly colorful, and there's so many visual effects, and all the bad guys are like digital, and I feel like I'm watching an animated film. So I've always had a love-hate relationship with that. I'm always like, it doesn't feel Star Wars prequel-y, kind of like it's so beautiful and pristine and polished, and that's almost the problem with it, is that it's too perfect. But then again, this is comic books, Dave. You got to remember, it's comic books, and when you look at comic books and you look at, that's what it is. It's colorful and there's not a lot of room for fine edges and grit. You know what I mean? Because it's comic books, superheroes. So I always have to keep that in my mind as well. But what did you guys think of it, though? What did you guys think of the Zack Snyder Justice League thing? I mean, to me, I watched the whole thing. I'm like, okay, but I haven't seen Justice League yet, so I'm not sure. Comment below and let me know if you're watching after the fact, and comment in the comment section as well, because I trust you guys, you comic book hardcore sweaty fucking nerds. Hey, listen, I'm not making fun of you. I'm a hardcore sweaty fucking Halloween nerd. You know what I'm saying? We all have our passions, right? But you guys need to help me out and let me know. Like, yeah, it was fucking wow, woo. I mean, is that what it is, or it's like, meh? I don't know. Let me know. Comment below and let me know. I trust you guys. Let me see. Jonathan Nichols says, Dave, thoughts on John Carpenter being involved in the Thing remake with Blumhouse? I don't know. What? How? I mean, John Carpenter also executive produced your beloved Halloween 2018. So, I mean, it doesn't mean it. Listen, Carpenter did the music for Halloween 18, and the music is arguably the best thing about that fucking movie. Arguably. Okay, I said arguably. You can make an argument. How is he going to be involved in the Thing? As I said many years ago, or 2 years ago, I guess, and I'll say it again, when you are an executive producer on a movie, that can mean something, and it can mean absolutely nothing. Because an executive producer on a major motion picture, there's such a spectrum of what that could mean. In television, it's different. In television, an executive producer, or now they're known as showrunners, are very important, and more often than not, more important than the director. Because the director can change over the course of episodes. You can have a different director directing a different episode if you want. But the showrunner or the executive producer is usually the one constant. You can also have different writers too. You can have a writer writing all the episodes, but you can have different writers writing different episodes. So even the writer isn't the same. Now, there's supposed to be in television, if it's done right, you're supposed to have a plan, and you're supposed to have a cohesive linear story, and you're supposed to, but that's why some episodes can be better than others in terms of flavor and style, and you know what I mean? So, but the showrunner, the EP, is generally the one constant. They're executive producing everything. They're all the way through from beginning to end. In film, the director and the writer are the most important. They shape the creativity of the project. The executive producer generally doesn't. You can have an executive a producer on a movie is more important than an executive producer. The producers are more boots on the ground, more locked into the day-to-day activities. The executive producer, you can go to, like they did with John. John, what do you think of having this? Well, sure. You know what I mean? And sometimes it can be a name only. You can have an executive producer that's pretty heavily involved, but you can have an executive producer in film that's just there for name. And put my name on it because it's a marketable name and they know that it'll get asses in the seats, right? John Carpenter being an executive producer, if that's what he is. Is that what he is? Do we know? Has the chat room said anything yet? Do we know if he's an executive producer? I would imagine that that's probably what he's going to do. He's going to be an executive producer on the thing. That's my guess. I could be wrong. So as of doing this show right now, I acknowledge I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll do the music. Maybe he will. And that excites me more. Him being some sort of executive producer on the thing, who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck about that. Him doing the music for the thing, that excites me more. Because having his name attached is there for marketing. Hey, you know what? We'll make an executive producer. We'll get to use your name for marketing, from executive producer. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. He'll be there for advice. Yeah, sure. Okay. But I mean, there's such a spectrum and how heavily, look at all the movies Steven Spielberg is executive producing. Let's go to his fucking IMDb. 1 second here. I want to give you, now maybe he's not executive producing as many at the moment, but I want to go to his IMDb. I always go to Spielberg as the example because it's just funny. I find it funny. Why is this taking forever? Come on. Don't you hate that when you're trying to do something and then things just take forever? Let's see. Are we still on here? We are still on. We're still live. There we go. Fucking Christ. Okay. So, yeah, okay. It's not as many as it has, but well, kind of. So you look at this. Okay. So producer. So right now he's an executive producer on Gremlins 3, Real Steel 2, the Talesman, untitled third Tintin film, untitled Indiana Jones project, Who Framed Roger Rabbit 2. Those are all post-production. Now that's just executive producer. Now he's also producing Intelligent Life, Robopocalypse, The Color Purple. The Color Purple. The fuck is going on there? They're remaking that? Probably because it's relative again. The Kidnapping of Edgardo Mortera. Am I saying that right? Edgardo Mortera. That's 10. He's also producing Bernstein. He's got Halo. He's a producer on. It's not possible for somebody to be boots on the ground and have massive creative input on the same level with all of that. But Spielberg's a name, and Spielberg's there for advice, and he might visit the set one day. He visits the set, hangs out, sees what's going on, right? Okay, cool. Offers some advice here or there, and then fucks off and leaves. So whenever you see an executive producer is attached, to a movie, always take that with a grain of salt. Always take that with a grain of salt. So John Carpenter being attached to the thing. Is he directing it? No. Is he writing it? No. Is he going to be a producer? A producer that's got to work every fucking day and get up early and be there on the set and do all the groundwork? No. He's either an executive producer who could fuck off and sit at home and play Xbox and watch basketball and answer phones with like some advice every now and then, or he's doing the music. That's my guess. And that's the perfect role for him at this stage. And that's probably all he fucking wants. So, yeah. Meh. I don't know. Meh. You know, isn't it great that he's attached? Yeah. But if they say he's doing the music, okay, cool. Because we can see that he's having a direct effect on the creativity of the movie, right? Halloween 18. Now, we have to give credit to his son, Cody Carpenter, and his godson, Daniel Davies or Davis. I think it's Davies. It's a collaborative effort. It wasn't just John Carpenter. Okay, their input was there too. But when you listen to that soundtrack, you can see, you can feel, oh, okay, like this, you know what I mean? If that's what he's doing with the thing, okay. If they just say, no, he's coming on as an executive producer, fucking cares. Who cares? Let me see here. Let me scroll down here. Oh, we got a lot of people coming in there. Good. I want to read some of these. Let me see. Let me go back here. I was talking about... Evil Alex says, I have this reaction with the Snyder Cut trailer because I wanted 3 years for this film. Well, that's great. That's great. I'll be very curious to see if all you Snyder fans rejoice and if it's really good, because who knows? Maybe it'll be garbage. I don't know. Let me scroll down. Just scrolling, folks. I want to get back to sort of where I was. The Film Addict says people were complaining about the eyeshadow too. It makes sense for him to cover his eyes with eyeshadow. Well, it wouldn't be eyeshadow. It would be, I mean, it would be just makeup. He wouldn't be putting on actual like female cosmetics. It'd be black sort of, you know, what I get what you're saying though. And yeah, it makes sense. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. It makes sense that he would probably do that, you know? Yeah, that would make sense to me. Let's see. Nick P was here, says, I haven't seen it yet. All right. Matthew Mills says, don't bother with Justice League. It was a carve up. I bet it was. I probably won't watch it anyway. So Nathan A says, nope, it's a different movie completely. The scenes in the trailer were not even in the movie. He isn't using any footage from the theatrical. We see Darkseid and Black Suit Superman. Okay, well then you got to have it out with all those people saying that they've seen quite a few things in there that were from the theatrical cut. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I've seen people acknowledge the new things you're talking about. But I've also seen people say, but there was a lot of stuff in there that was in the theatrical too. I saw scenes that I remember seeing in the movie. Not me, I'm saying they said that. So you got to have it out with those guys. Let me see. Simon says, hi, Dave. What would be your ideal plot, ideal direction for a Halloween anthology series movie like a follow-up to Season of the Witch? I don't know. I think Season of the Witch is a good place to start. I know when I had Sean Clark and Christopher Nelson on the show a couple of weeks ago, I know that they were not for a remake of Season of the Witch. I actually don't share that same thought. I think a remake of Season of the Witch is ripe for that, and I think there's an opportunity to do that. And because, like I've said, there's so much mythology you could and look, could you also expand on in a sequel? Yeah, you could. Yeah. They're not wrong. I mean, you could do a sequel, but I think you have an opportunity to redo because I don't think Season of the Witch is a great movie. I think it's fine, but I think the concepts and the ideas of Season of the Witch are stronger than the movie is. And I think that's why I've always said you have an opportunity with a little bit of a higher budget, you know, but do it justice. Don't turn it into something it's not. You know, make it a creepy, Halloween-y, psychological sort of horror film, right? You know, and you have an opportunity to play in a bigger sandbox and do justice to that film. Now, I know it might be blasphemous for some to remake Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, but come on. It's not that. I mean, it's fun and it's different. But I think for me, it's the concepts. It's the ideas that the movie is presenting to us that are fascinating, because there's so much more they could have done and so much more they could have explored if they had a bigger budget. And that's why I think an opportunity to redo that movie might be ripe for that. But I mean, Could you do a sequel and still expand? Yeah, you could. But I'm not adverse to a remake of Season of the Witch. So that's a good place to start anyway. I mean, I sometimes say, oh, Charlie Bowles. I mean, that's something that might be interesting too. The Charlie Bowles story. That might be kind of, and listen, there are some people that may laugh at that and go, that's kind of, it's kind of a throwaway, that's kind of funny. But if you do it right, man, that might be interesting too. Might be very interesting. Let me see. Oh, geez. We got a lot of... like what you guys are saying there. Yes. Crystal Lake Counselor 1977 says, Dave, are you spending $25 this weekend to watch Bill and Ted 3? Probably not. No, probably not. I'm in no rush to watch it. So, because I also won't have time this weekend because I'm just too busy. So, yeah, we'll see. Probably not, though. Dalton B says, you got to admit, though, Dave, Carpenter being executive producer on H-18 saved us from getting a rewritten ending to the OG Halloween. Well, that's true. That is a very, very good point. Yep, that's a very good point. But that in and of itself doesn't necessarily mean that an executive producer's job, because here's the thing you have to remember too, right? Your example is in a vacuum, right? Not every executive producer has prior history to the film that they're executive producing, right? So this is a special case that John Carpenter has, which is a good point to bring up, right? And maybe there might be some things that they do in the thing that John Carpenter can save them. Sure, but at the end of the day, those kinds of things don't generally happen, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, usually something so ridiculous as what David Gordon Green wanted to present usually doesn't happen. And there's still producers on the project. There are still producers that would have been like, no, let's not do that. I know I read an article that Blum wasn't even a big fan of that either. So, I mean, it may not have got past him, and Universal may have stepped in and been like, no, we're not. Who knows if without John Carpenter, would it have gone through? Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe not. It still may have ended up on the cutting room floor. Another producer may have stepped in. Ryan Turek may have been like, hang on a sec. I don't know if we should do this. I don't know. But the principle of the role of an executive producer's job is so vast that at the end of the day, it doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean much at the end of the day. But it is a good point that you bring up. It is a good point. In a vacuum, looking at it like that, that's a good point. That's a very good point. But yeah, the role of an executive producer it varies so much. Let me see here. Let me see. Who do we got? Nick P was here, says Season of the Witch is a fun movie. It just throws people off without Myers. If it had another name, it would have been better received. Well, I think it would have been better received, but I think it would have fallen into I think it would have fallen away with, Terror Train and, all those other sort of early 80s slasher films. I don't think Season of the Witch would have stood out as one of the greatest slasher films of all time. I just don't. I don't think it's that great of a movie. I think it's when I say it's not that great of a movie, I certainly don't mean it's a bad movie. I just mean that it's, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's fine. But certainly I think there's a lot of potential there. And I think remaking Season of the Witch, you have an opportunity to introduce Season of the Witch to a new audience. Halloween was different because Halloween was more in the pop culture. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that don't even know about Season of the Witch, but certainly know about Michael Myers, for better or worse. So doing a direct sequel to the original for Halloween is a little easier because you don't have to bring anybody up to speed, really. I mean, you have to make sure people know that it's a direct sequel to the original, but in terms of who Michael Myers is and what's going on, and I mean, he's out there. Season of the Witch, I just think just redo it. Just redo it and do it better and make it a really good movie. It's an opportunity to do that, and you could and the scale they could do. Remember seeing all the kids in Season of the Witch and they're showing New York and Arizona and, all these kids all over the country. Well, they weren't in those places. It was all in California. but they just shot in different locations. You know what I mean? But now you could have that. You could show fucking shit going down in Arizona. You could fucking show shit going down in New York. You could fucking show shit going down up here in Toronto and Canada. That probably won't happen because, for some reason there's some sort of, anyway. But you could, right? And you could show like a world kind of thing. Like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? You could I just think there's so much potential there. So much potential. If it was up to me, I would remake it. I'd remake it. Because it's not as blasphemous as remaking the original Halloween. Like, it's not like that. Listen, they remade Halloween. You can remake Season of the Witch. And from a certain point of view, Halloween 18 is almost like a remake. From a certain point of view. Not exactly. I think you know what I'm trying to say anyway. Let me see. Goomba Johnny says, Dave, if you made a Charlie Bowles movie, would you reference Halloween at all? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Or would it be strictly its own standalone movie with no reference? No, I would definitely reference. I wouldn't reference Michael Myers. Although, this is what I would do, is because the Graveyard Keeper, I think, says, here's what's interesting. The Graveyard Keeper, I just want to double check this. This is what's really interesting. Halloween 1978, Graveyard Keeper. Okay, I just want to get this. Let me just get this here. Just want to get this. Just give me a second, guys. Hang on, I got it. Okay, where is that? Is that it? Oh, there we go. Where's his little spiel? Here we go. Okay, so he says, yeah, every town has something like this happen. I remember over in Russellville, old Charlie Bowles, about 15 years ago. That's it. That's the key. That's the key bit of information. About 15 years ago. Well, this is 1978, and 15 years earlier is 1963, the same year that Michael Myers was a 6-year-old child and who murdered his sister Judith. Right? And he goes on there, of course, one night he finished dinner and excused himself from the table. He says one night. He doesn't say Halloween night. He says one night, so it could be any day in 1963. One night he finished dinner and he excused himself from the table. He went out to the garage and got himself a hacksaw. Then he went back into the house. He kissed his wife and his 2 children goodbye, and then he proceeded to, and that's it, right? And Dr. Loomis interrupts him. So if I was doing that, I would set it in or even before 1963, early 60s, 60, 61. And so, but obviously there would be no reference to Michael Myers yet, but certainly I would make it clear that it is in the same universe. So like Charlie Bowles has to go to Haddonfield for some reason. He lives in Russellville, but he's got to drive up to Haddonfield for some reason, right? And so you get to see Haddonfield, even though it's like maybe 2 or 3 years before Michael Myers murdering his sister. And that's how you would know it was set in the same universe. Or you set it in 1963 and you could bring in, you don't show it, but you can like have a newspaper, that somebody is reading about a murder that happened in Haddonfield. And it was a 6-year-old kid who was committed, right? And you don't need to show it. It's not Michael's movie. You don't show it. You can just show like a headline in like a paper or something, right? That's how I would approach it. So yeah, I would not shy away that this is definitely in the same universe because it's a movie about Charlie Bowles who eventually at some point in this movie is going to murder his family with a hacksaw. Yeah, like you can't, it is part of the same universe. So that's what I would do. But him saying 15 years ago is the key part of that. And I've always wondered if there's something to that. Did Charlie Bowles suffer the same fate as little Michael Myers? Is there a connection between Charlie Bowles and Michael? I might have to do a standalone video on this. It's fascinating. Josh McGrath says, Dave, would you argue that Michael from the remake is more physically and just overall more terrifying, intimidating than the OG. No. I would argue against that. I think he's terrifying in a different way. He's terrifying in a different way. Terrifying in a different way. Okay, I don't think I just want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats because we're coming to the end here. Nope. Did not. Let's take a look at the campaign. I think somebody said that we've moved up, so this is really cool. Let me just take a let me refresh the page here. 1 second. Okay, refreshing the page, and we are at yes, we did it. $50,038, ladies and gentlemen. We have done it. We have moved past 50,000. We have done it. Now, we haven't accomplished our goal yet, of course. Our goal is 60,000, but we are less than $10,000 away now. Let's keep this train rolling. We only have 9 days left. And like I said, that 9 is going to turn into an 8 at about 5 or 6 o'clock this afternoon, I think, somewhere around there, maybe even a little bit before. So really, you only have about 8 days left. This is awesome. Thank you so much, folks, for getting us to cross this milestone. Now, again, that's 50,000 Canadian. If you're in the States, you're probably seeing it as, let me just see here, USD to CAD. It's 50,038. So you're probably seeing about 37,900 is what you're seeing. So it's about $37,900 US. And our goal US is about 45,000. So I mean, like we're getting there, folks. We're getting there, and there's still 8 days left. Now, will we hit 60,000? I don't know. Maybe we'll hit 60,000. Maybe we won't hit 60,000. But the fact that we've hit 50,000 is amazing. But there's still basically 8 days left. We can still get there. We can maybe even get to 55, maybe, if enough people buy that advanced screening perk. I'm telling you, if 15 people buy that advanced screening perk, we're hitting the mid 50,000s. That's even grammatically correct. Anyway, awesome. Thank you so much, everybody there. So we have crossed the $50,000 mark. We've reached 83% of our production budget. I am stunned. I'm floored. You know, especially for a Black Christmas fan film, is amazing. You know, and this is really great. And I know that Bruce, if he's watching, will be just as excited and just as thankful as well. But I do know that obviously he's working hard too, so he may not be watching this episode. But he will definitely know about it later today. So amazing stuff, guys. Amazing. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's get those advanced screening. Hey, if you want to be one of the first to see the movie and hang out, I mean, obviously it'll be virtually because to fly everybody in would be really expensive, but it'll be over Zoom and get to hang out with Victoria and Malika and Shelby and everybody. We'll be sitting there and talking movies, and it's me, Billy, and Q&A and watching the movie. Telling you, man, if we can sell most of those, we'll be pretty much there. We'll be pretty much there. If we sell out the advanced screening perks with the Billy-a-thon and the two dudes double feature this weekend, we'll probably cross 60,000. Oh, yeah. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. There it is. 37,866 US is what James Guzman says. So, yeah, so I was right. I said 37,900 about there. So I was right. Just about $40 off or so. Amazing stuff, guys. Amazing stuff. Gary Rangel says, Dave, did Busta Rhymes receive negative reviews, but LL Cool J was praised in H2O? Can there be times when a rapper works in a horror movie? Well, it's because he wasn't can a rapper, he's probably because he's a better actor. And it was a different kind of movie, and he wasn't drop-kicking Michael Myers through a window and saying, trick or treat, motherfucker. I mean, if Busta Rhymes had just played it straight, I don't think anybody... Like, when everybody talks about Busta Rhymes in Halloween Resurrection, we generally go, trick or treat, motherfucker, you know? And we talk about all the Busta Rhymes isms. Do you know what I mean? Like, all, like, the stupid shit. But if he was just playing it straight and not being Busta Rhymes... and just kind of, I don't know, playing a character, probably would have been fine. He probably would have been fine. You know? But then again, I mean, he didn't write Trick or Treat, motherfucker. Somebody wrote that in the script and wanted him to do it. So, I mean, you know, blame the writer for that one. That's what I think. That's what I think anyway. Fucking crazy shit. Let's see here. Tom Ungurian. I think I'm saying that right. I always get that mixed up. Damn it. I always get that mixed up. I get that mixed up. We got a real community like you always have said here, Dave, 100%. Oh, 100%, man. I mean, it is amazing the love and support that is growing in this community. And like I said, to see that number right there, $50,038 Canadian, 548 backers with, essentially 8 days left. I mean, 83% of our production budget is just wild. It's wild, guys. It's wild. It's Intel wild. If Intel is watching, you know he's loving that at this very moment. But it's true. It's very true. All right, a couple more minutes here, and then I have to skedaddle. We'll go for another 5 minutes, and then I gotta take off. Let me see here. Jason the Tank Engine says, I wonder what Billy would look like if they made action figures of him like Michael, Freddy, Jason, etc. It'd be pretty hard because since we never see his face, how do we know what his likeness is like? That's true. I think, yeah, that's true. It'd be very hard to make a Billy action figure. Maybe you take the silhouette of Billy from Black Christmas as your template, and then you just make him faceless. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, or just, I don't know. That's a very good question. Or maybe you make action figures you create like a door and you have his eye in the door, between like the crack of the door. And that's what you do. I'd love to have like a 6 or 8 inch little door with the eye in it. That'd be cool. That would be cool. I'd love to have that. Holly Klein says, congrats on 50K. Thank you, Holly. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, thanks to everybody who has contributed to the campaign so far. And I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Die Hard Drummer 84 says, top 5 AC/DC songs. Ooh, well, this is going to differ. My top 5 would probably, and this is in no particular order, Hell's Bells, Back in Black, Thunderstruck, Highway to Hell, and it's tough. I mean, do I go Dirty Deeds? Do I go TNT? Do I go Jailbreak? I'm going to say Dirty Deeds. I'm going to throw Dirty Deeds in there. But I mean, there's so many good ones. Jailbreak and TNT and Whole Lotta Rosie and Money Talks and, oh my God, like The Jack and Flick of the Switch and Who Made Who and That's the Way I Like My Rock and Roll and fuck, like there's, The Razor's Edge. There's so many good songs. It's almost impossible to do a top 5. But I think the 5 that I laid out there are 5 that you play are, the one song I think they play way too often and way too much every fucking time. And I like the song. I don't not like the song. Who doesn't like the song? But it's like anytime you hear, and up next is AC/DC, it's like 9.9 times out of 10, it's She Shook Me All Night Long. And it's like, yeah, that's a great song. It's a fine song. It's an anthem-y song. It's radio safe. I get it. Although they're all radio safe, really, at the end of the day. Like, okay, but like, fucking play something else. Play Whole Lotta Rosie. Well, that's gotta, but still, or TNT, or Jailbreak, or like play something. Oh, I love It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll. It's a fucking great tune, too. Oh, come on. That's an amazing tune. Love that one. Let There Be Rock. Oh, yes. Let There Be Rock. Oh, I mean, there's so many. I can't pick one. There's just way too many. I love them all. They're all really good. So I would say, yeah, it's hard to think of it, man. but I'd say that. Jilly rocks the metal. Thank you very much. Says, sending Vader Black Kitty love. Oh, you mean Veda. Veda. Yes, V-A-D-A. It's a girl. And my girlfriend suggested we call her Veda instead of Vader, right? Because it's sort of the female version of Vader. You know, not really, obviously, but that's why we called her Veda. It's not because of Veda from My Girl with Macaulay Culkin. It's Veda because it's supposed to be like Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Or as I like to call her, Empress Veda. Empress Veda. All right, folks, listen, that's going to do it for me on episode 95 of McRae Live. I want to thank my moderators, of course, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, Jason Knight for doing what you do. Thank you to all the super chats that came in today. Thank you to the non-super chat questions. As usual, if I don't get to them, it's nothing personal, of course. It's just, a lot of people in the chat room. I like to be thorough. And don't forget the It's Me, Billy Indiegogo campaign. We're into the final week now, folks. We're into the final week. Anything you can do to help support us is really appreciated. It's crunch time now. It's crunch time. It's now or never. It's now or never. Anyway, it's now or never, folks. Make sure you head over to the campaign and let us help out as best you can. I'm just putting the link into the chat room again. There it is. It is in the chat room. Head on over there and let's see if we can keep going. 83%. It's pretty good. Let's keep this train going. I will be back on Thursday. I'll be back on Thursday at 11 a.m. for episode 96 of McRae Live. And I may have a standalone video. I don't know. It depends how busy I get. But as usual, we will see. So in the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. Alrighty. Cheers. Oh, hit the wrong one. Wait a minute. Cheers.